If you're anything like me and you've been wondering what you can do with your tiny bathroom that's in better days, just like mine, subscribe, because I'm going to refurbish my bathroom. I'm going to try and maximise what little space I have. And I'll take you step by step, all the processes I'm going to go through in order to achieve this. As you can see, it's tiny, 1700 by 1700 square. And it's a shame because it's a half decent sized house, but the bathroom is ridiculous. I can't change the size of the bathroom without having an extension, but we can try and maximise the space in some way or another. So first things first, this basin that projects quite far. So I've decided I'm going to go with a wall-mounted vanity unit. So it's got the drawers underneath it to give me some extra space. It doesn't stick out so far, it only comes out to about this distance. It will clear the floor space to give that illusion of extra space underneath there. We're going to go with a different mirror cabinet. I'll go on with one of them all singing and dancing ones with the LEDs and a charging socket. It's even got built-in speakers. We're going to reboard and skim the ceiling. Now I could just skim straight over this, but this is a lath and plaster ceiling. And when they start to crack this, there's no repairing them. I'm just not taking any chances. I'm just going to reboard it and we're going to skim it. We'll take the coving off, reboard it and skim it. Going to have a new extractor fan. This copper pipe here, I believe, was the old feed to the gravity fed heating system that we used to have. So that's redundant. I'll just cut that off underneath the floor, so we'll get rid of that. The radiator obviously restricts the space beside you when you're sitting on the toilet, so the radiator is going to go, and I'm going to utilise the space at the end of the bath here and stick the radiator, because it's just basically a waste of space here. We hang our towels up here anyway, so let's stick a radiator on there. We'll hang our towels on there, gives us a little bit of extra space down the side there. I'm going to stick a recess in this wall here, one on top of each other, and I'm going to have some LED lights shining down. I don't know if you've seen my previous video where I had a bidet adaptation for the toilet seat. Well, the whole family loves it. We use it all the time, but it's horrendous to clean around, so we're going to get rid of that, and I'm going to get a proper Turkish style combined bidet toilet. So all the gubbins are actually built inside the toilet. Much more attractive, much easier to clean. That's the biggest issue. I've got a new bath to go in here. I'm going to get rid of the thermostatic mixer tap / shower. And I'm going to stick a concealed shower on the wall here with the rainfall head. Okay, so we've got the coving off. But this is what I was talking about when I said I suspect the ceiling is the old lath and plaster. Although these were good back in the day, you know, they served a purpose. But over the years, the timber will dry out and it shrinks. The plaster in between comes loose and you'll find hairline cracks all over your ceiling. And no matter how much you try and repair those cracks with scrim taping it and filling it again, they'll eventually either come back through or they'll just appear somewhere else. So when it gets to that stage, you haven't really got much choice. You just got to either take the whole ceiling down, which I'm not going to do because it's going to be messy as hell, or overboard it. First, I need to get rid of this and the light switch. So I think what I'll do is I'll just turn the lighting circuit off. We'll poke the wires back up into the loft. So before I start boarding this ceiling, I'm going to make it easier for myself, and I'm going to mark on the wall where the rafters are. So when I've got that board up above my head, a screw gun in the other hand, I'm not struggling trying to find a rafter to screw into. When I took the coving down, there's obviously exposed these lathes, and now I can see the nails, which is where they're screwed into the rafters. Now I've measured from there to there and the next set, and they're 400. My first rafter starting there, tucked up right against the wall. So starting there, and then every 400 across, there'll be a rafter for me to screw into. Now with that in mind, the rafters are going that way. We can see them here anyway. The lathes are going that way, which means the rafters are going that way, which also means the plasterboard has to go this way. You don't want to be running your plasterboard down parallel with the rafters. Over the years, your timbers will swell, they'll expand, they'll contract, they'll warp. Now if you put your plasterboard and you have a join along one of the rafters, if that rafter's sitting proud a little, you'll never be able to hide it. So when you join your plasterboard, one sheet of plasterboard will be going that way, the other one will be going that way, and then you've got this big ridge down the middle that you've got to try and plaster over as a nightmare. Whereas if you put the plasterboard going the opposite way, the plasterboard will naturally bend with a slight curve and you won't even see it. Now it might sound obvious, but when you're doing drywall, it's important to use drywall screws. Otherwise what can happen is they'll either rust or some residue on the screws can leach their ways through the plaster, and then before you know it, you've got little rust spots or little stains all across the ceiling, all your walls, everywhere where there's a fixing.